Bronson here for Gear Horse Anonymous. I'm going to do a comparison between the Camelbak Tri-Zip and the Mystery Ranch Dragonslayer. Now these are very similar in size and stature. That's because Camelbak kind of teamed up with Mystery Ranch and produced a more affordable Tri-Zip backpack. Now the main differences here are going to be price range, the biggest one. Mystery Ranch, of course, all US made, will cost you about $300, and depending if you want the extra waist belt, will cost a little extra. The Tri-Zip you can usually get under $200, so depending on where you get it, you can get a good deal on it. Okay, now specs wise, they're very similar. They get the strong Cordura nylon, which you expect from tough military gear, using YKK zippers, brand name buckles, the whole 9 yards. These are very well made packs, both of them, and they're both rated at 2,300 cubic inches of space. But you can see here, the Tri-Zip is a little shorter than the Mystery Ranch, so I'm not sure where that extra space is coming from, or if they're counting different things. But you can clearly see here, the Mystery Ranch is a little taller, a little bigger than the Tri-Zip, but they are both rated at 2,300 cubic inches. Here's the outside of the backpacks. Both have the buckles here in the front, so if you want to secure down more equipment, or if you just want to tighten down, sit down the backpack, both features the same. Of course, both have the Tri-Zip design, 2 on the top, 1 down the middle, 1, 2, 3. Now I've noticed here on the Mystery Ranch is actually the zipper is covered with a rubber coating, which protects the zipper, and the Camelbak does have a little bit of protection, but not as much. Other noticeable differences here is that the Tri-Zip does have the full MOLLE on the front. This model, Mystery Ranch, does not, the Dragonslayer. It does have some webbing on the side, but does not have full MOLLE on the front. Tri-Zip, also full MOLLE on the sides, both sides. Dragonslayer, only on top, on both sides. Okay. MOLLE on the bottom, with your ventilation hole there for moisture, and some webbing on the bottom as well. I guess I can call that MOLLE. And there's the moisture holes as well. Got a couple of them, metal, of course. And on the top here, you'll notice that the Camelbak does come with Velcro. This was added on later, so it does have the hook and loop on there by default, whereas the Dragonslayer does not. Now this is not the military model, although it is Coyote and has a MOLLE. It's not their full military model, so it doesn't have the hook and loop. Going to the top of the pack, on the very top here, on the Mystery Ranch, you do have a fairly large pocket here, probably more for your glasses, phone, etc., and your admin pouch here, pens, notebook, whatever. And also a second one here. This one is a mesh material, and this is a fairly large pocket here, very large, maybe for some comms, gloves. And we do have these tabs, which I like to use them as pull tabs, but they're good for anything else if you want to add grim locks or whatever. The Tri-Zip, being similar, it does have the same tabs, but you only get one top pocket, which is quite large as well, probably the same size as the bigger pocket on the Mystery Ranch. You do have like a microfiber material on the back here, which is great for cameras, optics, whatever you don't want scratching up. Okay, moving on to the side here. On the side of the Tri-Zip, you do have your admin pouch here, or compartment I should say, versus being on top. Key ring, typical pens, bungee there, plenty of pockets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the other side it's just an empty one. One thing I will mention though, these pockets, the compartment actually protrudes into the main compartment, so if you overload this, you are going to take some space away from your main compartment. Something I don't like. Now on the Mystery Ranch, instead of having a zip pocket, you actually get a large bungee pocket, which is for a water bottle or anything else you can really shove in there. gloves if you want to just kind of put your hand in and grab your gloves out. And you also get this one that runs through. So if you have tent stakes or anything else outdoor related, you can just shove through there, ice pick, whatever. And you get that on both sides. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to be moving into the inside of the backpacks. So we're going to unbuckle. I'll mention really quick here, this does have a pretty neat buckle here where it has like a locking mechanism. So if you pull that, it's easy to open and close. Kind of a two-way lock. This just has the standard locks. So go ahead and open those. You also get two down here, more equipment or whatever you want to cinch down, along with these. Okay. Let's open these two up. I'll mention too, this having the rubber coating on top does make the zipping a little slower than not having it, of course, but you do get the protection. Let's open this up. And by the way too, this shock cord was added separately. It doesn't normally come on the pack. And you can see it does get in the way, but that's the way I like running it, and it keeps the backpack from completely flying open, all your stuff coming out, and you can also cinch down the extra equipment, apparel, whatever you want. And then let's open up the tri-zip. Okay. This one, picture here. Alright, on the inside of here, a lot of compartments and goodies. Okay, you do get one large compartment here, of course, the main compartment, and this compartment, which you can cinch down a laptop, notebook, of course, anything you want separate notebook than your main gear, and it is cinched down with a shock cord. You also get these two buckles and straps, so if you want to strap down even more equipment, an extra, I don't know, jacket, whatever you want, that is pretty convenient to have. And you get two of them, bottom and top. Additional loops here for whatever you may want to use it for. And on the sides, you have these two mesh pockets, very convenient to have, and they are zipped shut. You get two of those, and then you do also get the extra compartment there, stakes, whatever you want. Okay, and then on top here, you know, there's these two X's, and these are actually cable ports. If you have headphones or comms or anything else you may want to port through that. Okay, and you can see here, I mean, it is a very large compartment, and you may notice here what I mentioned earlier is these side pockets, being the way they are designed, if you overstuff them, you see how they protrude inside the backpack, so if you overstuff it, it will get in the way. Okay. Alright. Now moving on to the Mystery Ranch here. Alright, a little taller of a backpack, as I mentioned before, and if you notice here right in the front, straight off the bat, you do have the full MOLLE webbing in here. You can add extra pouches, whatever you may want. Loop there. And on the sides here, just like the tri-zip, you do have the zip down compartments, also mesh, similar in size. You get one on each side, just like the tri-zip, and you also do get the run through right there. You also do get an extra compartment down here for whatever you may want to add there. And you also do get, try to get that in picture, it is a really long pocket here. You can even probably fit a full emitter in this compartment right there. Just plenty of organizational space and pockets. And it's a very, very tall tall pack. Kind of hard to see, but take my word for it. Definitely taller than a tri-zip. Alright, now I'll be showing the back of the two packs. One compartment here that the Camelbak does have and the Mystery Ranch does not is an actual proprietary hydration bladder pouch. Very large, about the size of my forearm here. You can fit up to 3 liter. You have the tab there to hang off your bladder from. You also do get the ports for the tubes on both sides. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the Camelbak is using the Mystery Ranch material harness under license. You can see they are pretty much identical, the harnesses. Mystery Ranch does have probably the best load-bearing weight suspension system for a backpack on the market, bar none. Very comfortable to use, even full load, very, very comfortable. On the straps here, both are mesh lined, Mystery Ranch and Camelbak. Thick pads on here, and especially my favorite is the lower back support. Very comfortable, even with the load, full load. It's very comfortable to use. You can't beat it. Very comfortable. Of course, you do have the chest strap there, kidney belt, and grommets here, extra molly there, just plenty of extra compartments to just clip and extra gear, whatever. Same with the Mystery Ranch. You do have all the extra straps and goodness you may need. Same with the chest on here, and you also notice here this is pretty nice for a hydration tube as well. Alright, moving down to the kidney belt. One thing that I don't like Camelbak does not have is molly on the kidney belt. This would have been very nice to attach a knife sheath or a hydration pouch or any other, whatever you may need quick access to. The Mystery Ranch, of course, you can see does have it. You see the padding here is very good. Not as thick as a Mystery Ranch, but that's probably because this was added separately. This thicker pad did not come with it. You did buy it separately, and it will run you about 50 to 80 bucks. That just further drove the cost in the pack from $300 now to about $380. By the time you're out the door, you're spending $400. So now you're spending about twice as much as a Camelbak, but you do get a little nicer package. Okay, and I'll show you here. If you want to kind of hide this kidney belt, there isn't really anywhere you can put it unless you remove it, which kind of stinks. So if you don't need it, there's really nowhere for it to go. You can kind of fold it up and hide it, but it's going to stay there. One neat feature here that the Mystery Ranch pack did introduce, and you kind of have to really play with the pack to notice it, is that you can actually hide it. So if you're going to take it as a carry-on on the plane and you don't want this extra thing flopping around, hitting people, you can actually take it. And if you notice here, I just unbuckle this side compartment, unbuckle that, take this, fold it like that, buckle it down, and now it's completely disappeared into the side. And you don't get that with the tri-zip. So if you want to hide those, you do have it there. And in the meantime, you can also put more stuff here. Very tall compartment. Of course, it's only being secured down with the buckle, so you know, nothing valuable to put in here because it will fall out unless it's a larger piece. Now is the part where I'm going to take a bunch of crap and put them inside the backpacks to show how much stuff they can hold. So let's start off with the Camelbak. notice though, these don't have these Velcro tabs, so you can't really organize your straps very well. Not a deal breaker, but something that's definitely different. There we go. Everything that fits in the Mystery Ranch fits in the Camelbak. Everything that fits in the Camelbak fits in the Mystery Ranch. No problem. Very similar in size. Now I'm going to say, everybody's going to ask, which one do you think is the better backpack? Now, having tested both of these backpacks, they are virtually almost the same, and there isn't really a better one. It really comes down to what's more mission specific. What do you like better? What can you afford? I mean, that's something that boils down to anybody. If you can afford the Mystery Ranch, by all means get the Mystery Ranch. If you can't afford it, get the Camelbak. Are you getting really less backpack than the Mystery Ranch if you get the Camelbak? I'm going to say no. They both offer a large amount of space, quality's good, the materials, the buckles, everything is phenomenal. I mean, you're paying about 200 bucks, wasn't 200 bucks for the Camelbak. You're paying with the enhanced kidney pads, you're paying almost 400 for the Mystery Ranch. You are getting an all-American made product with the Mystery Ranch. You are not with the Camelbak. If I remember, it wasn't made in Asia, but it was something U.S. materials sewn in Dominican or something like that, but it wasn't made in China. So it really comes down to is what you can afford and what do you really like better, because they both really have neat features. One last thing I'll add too is that the Camelbak does have a few features I do like better, and the fact that I do have the zip-up side compartments. You don't have that with the Mystery Ranch. You kind of have to add that on. You also do get the extra 2 straps on the inside. You also get the notebook sleeve. You don't get that with the Mystery Ranch. So there are some features with the Camelbak is a little better than the Mystery Ranch, but there are some parts of the Mystery Ranch is a little better than the Camelbak, having the better pads, etc. So it's really tit for tat when it comes down to which one you would say is better. And I think they're pretty both even, and I will let you be the judge on what you like better. Again, this has been Bronson for Gear Horse Anonymous, and demonstrating the Mystery Ranch Dragonslayer versus the Camelbak Tri-Zip.